The psychology of people who hate small talk. You're standing in an elevator when someone walks in and hits you with, "Working hard or hardly working?" And suddenly the idea of jumping out the window feels like a solid option. Or you're at a party, someone brings up the weather, and you can practically feel your spirit exit your body. For certain people, small talk is just a minor irritation. For others, it feels like straight-up torture. So here's the real question. Why do some people instinctively shrink away from casual chatter while others absolutely thrive on it? Stick with me, because the explanation says a lot more about human psychology than you might expect. First group, their brains are literally wired to reject it. Neuroscientists have found that some individuals have what's called a high need for cognition. In simple terms, their minds crave depth, nuance, and real substance. When you ask them, "How was your weekend?" they don't process it as a genuine question. To them, it registers as empty noise, no depth, no meaning. Research shows these individuals actually get less dopamine from surface-level conversation. While you're serving up light chatter, their brain feels like it's being handed an empty plate. Here's the interesting part, though. Drop them into a discussion about philosophy, big ideas, existential anxiety, anything with weight, and they completely shift. Their energy changes. They come alive. It's not that they dislike people. They're just allergic to conversations that don't go anywhere. Honestly, they'd rather sit in silence than fake enthusiasm about your morning commute. Second group, a totally different story. For them, small talk isn't shallow. It's a performance, and it's draining. Imagine you're casually chatting about your weekend. Seems simple enough, right? Meanwhile, inside their head it's chaos. Am I smiling too much? Did that sound weird? Are they judging me? Should I ask a follow-up now, or wait? Psychologists refer to this as cognitive load. While you're coasting through the conversation, they're running a full mental analysis, dissecting every word, facial twitch, and awkward pause. And here's the harsh reality. Because they're so focused on managing how they come across, they're not actually present in the moment. The whole interaction starts to feel artificial, disconnected, like they're observing themselves from outside their own body. Eventually, their brain begins linking small talk with stress. So they opt out. Not because they dislike people, but because the emotional price tag is just too high. Third group, and this one's fascinating. They've caught on to something most people never notice. Small talk, in their eyes, is a trap. Think about it. Someone asks, "How are you?" You respond, "Good, thanks," even if you're barely holding it together inside. Someone asks about your weekend. You give the standard answer and move on. Since we were kids, we've basically been conditioned to follow these conversational scripts. Sure, they're polite and keep things running smoothly, but they also keep everything stuck at surface level. There's no real connection, no depth. And for people who care deeply about authenticity, small talk doesn't just feel dull, it feels dishonest. Every hollow question and forced grin feels like a tiny act of self-betrayal. Psychologists refer to this as existential authenticity. For these individuals, small talk isn't social glue, it's more like a cage. But here's the part no one really mentions. People who dislike small talk tend to share one unusual trait. They're genuinely comfortable with silence. Most people get uneasy the second a conversation stalls. They rush to fill the gap with anything, random comments, awkward jokes, whatever keeps the noise going. But this group? Silence doesn't intimidate them. They've realized that quiet is often more sincere than scripted chatter. Silence says, "I'm not here to perform. I'm okay just being." And that's rare. Most people can't sit through half a minute of quiet without feeling restless. Now let's talk about the stereotype. There's this assumption that if you hate small talk, you must think you're smarter, deeper, or more intellectual than everyone else. Sure, a few people fit that description, but for most, it's not ego. It's vulnerability. Small talk is safe territory. No one gets wounded discussing the weather. But genuine conversation? That's risky. You expose parts of yourself. You open the door to being misunderstood, judged, even rejected. So when someone skips the script and dives straight into something meaningful, they're not acting superior. They're being courageous. They're choosing real connection over hiding behind politeness. And here's the twist. Disliking small talk doesn't mean disliking people. Research actually suggests these individuals often have smaller circles, but much deeper bonds. They'd rather have 2 people who truly understand them than 20 who just know what they did last weekend. From their perspective, small talk doesn't create connection, it delays it. Every minute spent hovering at the surface is a minute not exploring what's underneath. So what does all of this mean? If you can't stand small talk, it doesn't mean something's wrong with you. Maybe your mind craves meaning. Maybe you're exhausted from performing. Or maybe you've recognized the social script for what it is, and you can't pretend not to see it anymore. You're not cold. You're just over shallow interactions. And if someone seems uneasy during casual chatter, don't immediately label them as rude. Maybe they're simply waiting for the conversation to get real. The bigger question is, which category do you fall into? And are you ready to be honest about it? If this made you see social interaction differently, hit subscribe. We cover psychology that actually explains you.